Let us try to understand human being digestive system. See, are you aware of this? Even in 10th standard you might have seen this, right, diagram. So, this is the digestive system of the human being, dear students. So, what are the components of the digestive system? Let us have a look. See, digestive system of human being consists of what? Digestive system of human being consists of two important components, dear students. What are those two important components? You see, first one, alimentary canal. Digestive system is made up of what? Two components. Digestive system consists of two components. First one, alimentary canal, and second one, associated glands, dear students, right. So, whenever you think of digestive system, you just simply should not think of what? Alimentary canal. Alimentary canal is a part of digestive system, right. So, you see, alimentary canal begins with what? Mouth, right, one opening, and that again, see, right, dear students, and that opens with what? One more opening, and the anterior opening of the alimentary canal is called mouth, and posterior opening of the alimentary canal is called what? Posterior most opening of the alimentary canal is called anus. So, this is what is alimentary canal, dear students, and alimentary canal is also called digestive tract, you can say, gut also you can say. And apart from alimentary canal, you see, here and there in the course, alimentary canal is associated with what? Some glands, dear students, and those glands help in what? Digestion of food. Therefore, these glands are called associated glands, dear students. See, alimentary canal, you see alimentary canal, are you able to see alimentary canal? Yeah, alimentary canal is associated with some glands, right. So, those glands help in digestion and they are called what? Associated glands. So, let us see what are associated glands here, right. So, salivary glands, are you see in mouth cavity, buccal cavity, you can find what? Salivary glands such as parotid gland, right, dear students, submaxillary glands, right, sublingual glands. So, these are associated glands which are found in what? Mouth cavity, dear students, buccal cavity. Again, if you see in abdomen, you can find what? Liver. Liver is again associated gland, right. Pancreas. Pancreas is again what? Associated gland, dear students, you need to understand. So, these are associated glands. In the digestive tract, in the wall of the digestive tract, you can find some glands such as intestinal glands and gastric glands, right, dear students. All these five together considered as what? Digestive glands. So, now you clearly understood what is digestive system. Digestive system consists of what? Alimentary canal, that is also called what? Gut, dear students, and associated glands. Let us see alimentary canal of the human being. Alimentary canal's length in human being is 8 to 10 meters, dear students. Can you imagine? 8 to 10 meters means 1 meter is equal to 3 feet. So, you can imagine then up to 30 feet this will be the length of the human being alimentary canal. So, human being alimentary canal is about 8 to 10 meters long. It consists of what? Mouth, dear students. What is mouth? How it helps in how it helps to the person we will discuss. Buccal cavity, right. Buccal cavity contains what? Teeth and tongue, dear students. Pharynx is there, right. Esophagus and stomach, right, dear students. Small intestine, right. You have heard, you have seen small intestine, right, in earlier classes. So, small intestine again divided into consists of what? Three parts: duodenum, right, jejunum, ileum. This sequence is very important, dear students. Subsequently we will see large intestine, and see ultimately large intestine opens outside by means of what? Anus. So, alimentary canal of human being is 8 to 10 meter long, dear students, right. And alimentary canal consists of what? Starts with mouth, ends with anus, right. So, in between mouth and anus you can find what? Mouth leads into buccal cavity leads into pharynx leads into esophagus leads into stomach leads into small intestine leads into what? Large intestine ultimately opens outside by means of anus, dear students. I hope you have enjoyed this. You might have understood this, right, dear students. Let us see these parts one by one in detail. See, mouth, dear students. So, mouth is bounded by what? Mouth is what is mouth, right? Anterior opening, right? Anterior opening of the alimentary canal is called what? Mouth, dear students. See, mouth is bounded by, you see my mouth, are you able to see? Yes, mouth is bounded by what? Mouth is most important, see, dear students. Mouth is bounded by, here this is the mouth, right? So, mouth is open over here, right. So, mouth is bounded by what? Two lips. So, this is upper lip, dear students. Are you able to see? Here this is called what? I would like to mention here upper lip. This is what? Upper lip, right. So, this is upper lip, and you know this is lower lip, dear students. So this is, you know, somewhere here you can write. So this is what, dear students, lower lip. So mouth is bounded by what? Two lips, upper lip and lower lip. Next, what is the use of mouth? Yeah, mouth helps in ingestion of food. As far as if we are talking, you know, mouth in context with what? Digestive system, then you can say that mouth helps in ingestion of food. So we take food with the help of what? Mouth. So that is what is mouth, you need to understand, dear students. See, mouth leads into what? Mouth leads into buccal cavity, right? See, and this buccal cavity contains, most important you need to remember here, buccal cavity contains what? Buccal cavity contains two important structures. What are those two important structures? You see, teeth, dear students. What? Teeth, and you know, tongue, you need to understand. So teeth is plural, right? Teeth indicates what? This is a plural, and tooth is singular, you need to understand, and tongue. So these two structures, two important structures we can find in what? Buccal cavity. What are the two important structures? You see, dear students, are you able to see this diagram? Yes. In diagram, what you can see? You can see tongue, right? So here I have shown muscular tongue is there, right? We'll discuss about it. And then you can find what, dear students? You see teeth, right? So upper jaw teeth and lower jaw teeth, you know, how many teeth are there? We will discuss subsequently in detail all these things, dear students. So mouth leads into buccal cavity, and buccal cavity contains what? Teeth and tongue, dear students. These are you know, noticeable what you can say parts which are present in the buccal cavity, and they are having what? Specific role in the process of what you can say nutrition. We will discuss in detail. Now let us talk about teeth, dear students. So teeth, already I told you, plural. So oral cavity has a number of teeth. Oral cavity is having number of teeth. In adult human being, how many teeth you can see, dear students? In adult human being, you can find how many? 32 teeth you can find, you need to understand, dear students, right? See, another most important thing, each, right, tooth, singular tooth, each tooth is embedded in human being in the socket of jawbone, dear students. Are you able to see? Here I have shown. So this is jawbone, just imagine. In the sockets of jawbone, right? So jawbone, so this is the socket of jawbone, dear students. You see socket of jawbone, most important sockets. So these, you know, teeth I removed from the sockets of jawbone. Are you able to see? Yes. Means what? Teeth are embedded in the sockets of jawbone in human being, and such kind of, you know, dentition are, you know, teeth are called, most important, thecodont, dear students. See, teeth are, each tooth is embedded in the socket of the jawbone, and this kind of attachment of, you know, teeth is known as what? Thecodont. This word is very, very important, my dear students. You don't forget this word. This is very, very important, thecodont. And another most important thing I would like to share with you. So this word is very, very important. Diphyodont teeth. In human being, you can find what? Diphyodont teeth. What do you mean by diphyodont? Di means what? Two, dear students, right? Two. So two sets of teeth are formed in human being. How many sets of teeth are formed? Two sets of teeth are formed in human being. What are those two sets? Right, first set is called milk set, right, dear students, or deciduous set, you can say, because they will fall after a certain age, they will fall, and in place of those, you know, milk teeth, you know, permanent teeth will be formed, dear students. So how many sets of teeth are formed during the lifespan of human being? Two times, or two sets of teeth are formed during the lifespan of an during the lifespan of what? A human being, right? So therefore this kind of dentition or this kind of teeth are called diphyodont teeth, right, dear students? All you need to remember definition. Let us see again certain beautiful aspects. In adult human being, right, in adult human being, how many teeth you can find, dear students? 32 I mentioned here, right? So 32 permanent teeth are present in adult human being, dear students. And you know how many different types of teeth you can find in human being? See, 4 different types of teeth you can find in human being. What are those 4 different types of teeth? See, here I have shown clearly, dear students, incisors. This is incisor, right? Second one, canines, right? So this is what? Most important you need to understand, dear students, a very important, canine, dear students, it is canine, right? So see, premolars, right? Are you able to see? These are premolars. Most important you need to understand, dear students, very simple. So this is what? This is canine, right? So these two are what? Premolars. These two are what? Incisors, you need to understand, and these three are what? Molars, dear students, right? So two incisors, then two, this one is canine, and these two premolars, and then three what? Molars. So how many different kinds of teeth we have seen, dear students, in human being? 4 different kinds of teeth are present. How many? 4. So here I have, just what you can say, root, I have removed teeth from the jawbone so that you can clearly see, dear students can clearly see, right? So incisors, canines, right, premolars and molars I have shown. See here, these are 4 different types of teeth can be seen in human being. So therefore, human being dentition is called heterodont, dear students. Most important. Why human being dentition is called, teeth are called heterodont? Because in human being 4 different kinds of teeth can be seen. So incisors, canine, you see their shape, right? This is chisel shaped, right? This is dagger shaped, right? All these most important. This is useful for cutting. Incisors are useful for cutting. Canines are useful for tearing the flesh, right? So these premolars and molars, they are having, what you can say, they are useful for what? They are also called cheek teeth because they are present in cheek region, right? They are student in mouth cavity, and they are also called what? Grinders. They are useful in what? Grinding the food or mastication, right? So this is something about you need to understand. Teeth, dear students, right? So what we have seen in teeth? So teeth are present in oral cavity. In human being, you can find what kind of teeth? Thecodont teeth, diphyodont teeth and heterodont teeth. You need to understand. And incisors, incisors, canines, premolars and molars can be indicated with what? Their first letter I, C. I for incisors, C for canines, PM for premolars and M for molars, dear students. Let us see one more beautiful thing. Dental formula, dear students. What? Dental formula. Have you heard this word before? Dental formula. Right, some of you have heard, right? So dental formula, let us see what is dental formula. There is a definition for dental formula, right? See, arrangement of teeth, right? Arrangement of teeth in each half of upper and lower jaw in the order of incisors, canines, premolars and molars, right, can be shown in a sort of equation, dear students. What do you mean by dental formula? Arrangement of teeth in each half of upper and lower jaw, right, can be shown in the order of incisors, canines, premolars and molars, right, can be shown in a sort of equation or can be shown in a sort of formula, and that is called what? Dental formula, dear students. It's a very simple. See here I have shown formula, dental formula. So clearly I would like to write over here so that you can understand, right? So this is the dental formula of adult human being, dear students. Are you able to see dental formula of adult human being? So dental formula can be written as you see on the top. I am writing DF. DF stands for what? Dental formula. While writing dental formula, certain things you have to keep in mind, right? I have shown over here clearly. See, first one we are going to take into account what? Incisors, right? So upper jaw incisors 2, in upper jaw half I am talking about, lower jaw half I am taking, right? So 2 incisors are there. So then what you can see, again you have to go for second category of teeth, and second category of teeth, canines. Upper jaw half is having 1, lower jaw half is having 1. Next we have to go for what? Premolars. Upper jaw premolars, upper jaw half is having 2 premolars and lower jaw half is also having 2 premolars. Then we have to go for what? Molars. Most important, upper jaw half is having 3 molars and lower jaw half is having 3 molars, right, dear students? So these are numerators. Numerators are indicating what? Teeth of number of teeth in each half of upper jaw. Denominators are indicating what? Number of teeth in each half of lower jaw, right? Now what you need to do? 1, 2 plus 1, 3 plus 2, 5 plus 3, 8, right? 8 plus 8, dear students, 8 plus 8, right? So 8 plus 8, 16, right? So we have considered only what? Each half. So therefore there are 2 halves, so 16, right? 16 into 2 is equal to 32. So this is the way. In this way we can write what? Dental formula. So directly I have shown here ICPM, right? ICPM in the sense what? ICPM, most important, I, incisors, canines, premolars, molars. I have shown over here, it's very important, right? So definition, if you remember, it would be better. Arrangement of teeth in each half of upper and lower jaw in the order of incisors, canines, premolars, molars can be shown in a sort of equation called dental formula. This is the dental formula of adult human being, dear students. And another most important thing I would like to share with you. So this is the dental formula of adult, right? Milk set dental formula, if you ask me, right, dear students, DF stands for what? Child dental formula. So 2 most important, so directly let me write. So 2102 by 2102. So directly this time numerators and denominators I have shown. I have not shown, okay, simply what letters over here. Why? Because it's a wastage of time. Now you have understood. So for understanding purpose, for the whenever you are studying this for the first time, so that you can understand what exactly this 212 means, right? So this time directly we can write, now you are expert. So 2 indicates what? This 2 by 2 indicates what? Incisors. 1 by 1 indicates what? Canines. 0 by 0 indicates what? Premolars. 2 by 2 indicates what? Molars. So what kind of teeth are absent? Third category, third, right? Category teeth means what? Premolars are absent, dear students. So now you calculate. So how many teeth? You can see 5 plus 5, dear students. 5 plus 5 is equal to 10 into 2 is equal to 20. So how many teeth you can find in milk set? 20 teeth, dear students. And another most important thing I would like to share with you, most important, dear students. So teeth are generally useful for what? Teeth are generally useful for chewing, right? Mastication or grinding, dear students. So if you see the upper surface of the tooth, tooth is made up of what? Bone like structure called dentin. Upper surface of the tooth is made up of hardest shiny material, and that hardest shiny material is called, most important, dear students, enamel, right? So if you see while brushing, you have to see your teeth, right, dear students? So let me go back so that you can clearly see over here, right? So these are the teeth. So upper shiny white glistening part of the tooth is there, right? So that is what? That glistening white shiny part of the tooth is what? Enamel. Enamel is the hardest part in the vertebrate body, right, dear students? You need to understand, it's a very, very important thing I shared with you. Let us see structure of tooth, dear students, right? Let us have a look. So this is the structure of tooth. Are you able to see? This is structure of tooth. It's a very important. See, I have shown longitudinal section of the tooth, right, dear students? So this tooth is embedded in the socket of jawbone. You see, this is the socket of jawbone, dear students, from here to here, and much more part of the tooth, right, is embedded in the socket of jawbone, dear students. You need to understand, right? So the part of the tooth which is embedded in the socket of the jawbone is called root. Part of the tooth, right, which is covered by gums or gingiva, right? So that is called what, dear students? You need to understand, neck. The part of the tooth which is, right, exposed, means which is not surrounded by gums, that is called what? Crown, dear students. So how many parts are there in each tooth? So 3 parts are there. Crown, external exposed part, right? Neck, the part of the tooth which is covered by the gums is called what? Neck, you can say. And the part of the tooth which we cannot see and which is embedded in the socket of the jawbone is called root, dear students. You need to understand, right? So we have seen dental formula, right? We have seen adult dental formula, we have seen child dental formula, we have seen in brief structure of the tooth as well, dear students. Let us talk about tongue, right? So in mouth cavity you can find what? Muscular tongue, dear students. Tongue is made up of what kind of muscles? Striated muscles, right? Muscular tongue is found in the buccal cavity or mouth cavity. It is present on the floor of the buccal cavity, and it is attached to the floor of the buccal cavity by means of a connective tissue, and that connective tissue is called frenulum, dear students. This word you need to remember. So this, are you able to see? Everybody able to see? What is this, dear students? Tongue, right? So what I have done, just I cut the tongue. I cut the tongue and I brought the tongue right for you. You see over here, right? So this is the structure of the tongue. You need to understand. So where do you find tongue? The tongue. So tongue is present in the, tongue is present in the mouth cavity, right? So it is present on the floor of the mouth cavity or buccal cavity. It is attached to the floor of buccal cavity by means of connective tissue, which I have cut. See this. And that connective tissue by which tongue is attached to the floor of buccal cavity is called what? Most important, frenulum, dear students, right? Tongue is roughly triangular. It is made up of what? You can say muscles, right? It's a muscular structure, you need to understand, dear students, right? And let us see some other important aspects. Upper surface, are you able to see? This is upper surface of the tongue. Upper surface of the tongue has small projections, and those projections are called papillae, dear students. What? Tongue papillae, papillae you can see. Are you able to see papillae I have shown? Right. And you know, some of which bear, not all, some of these, okay, simply possess what? Some taste buds. We are able to taste different kinds of, we are able to detect, our tongue is able to detect what? Taste of different kinds of food or not? Yes. So that is because of what? Tongue on the upper surface is having small projections, and those small projections are called what, dear students? Papillae, right? So inside those papillae you can find what? Very minute microscopic structures, and they are called what? Taste buds. So with the help of taste buds we are able to what? Detect the, you know, taste of the food. You need to understand, dear students. See, this is the function of the tongue. So do you think this is the only function of the tongue? No, dear students. So tongue, you know, enable us to speak. I am able to, you know, deliver lecture, right, dear students, for you. So that is because of what? That is because of tongue, right? So tongue helps in speech, dear students. Tongue also acts as universal toothbrush, right? So whenever we eat something, and suppose if nothing is there, right, if we do not find water, so then what we will be doing, right? So we can make use of tongue to clean our teeth. So tongue also acts as what? Universal toothbrush, dear students, right? So tongue is made up of what? Voluntary muscles, you need to understand, right? So whenever I want to, you know, send my tongue outside the mouth, I can send, you know, I can withdraw, means tongue muscles are voluntary muscles, right, dear students? You need to understand, it's very simple. And another most important thing, tongue muscles are striated muscles, and striated muscles are generally found in association with what? They are attached to the bones. But in tongue, striated muscles are not connected to any bones, dear students. You need to understand, it's a very beautiful thing I shared with you. Let us talk about pharynx. What, dear students? Pharynx. So you know, buccal cavity later, see, this is what, dear students? Mouth, right? So this is mouth, it's very important, right? So this is mouth. M stands for mouth. Mouth leads into what? This BC. BC stands for what? Buccal cavity, dear students, right? And buccal cavity leads into what, dear students? Pharynx. Are you able to see? This portion is called what, my dear students? This encircled portion is called pharynx. So again we will discuss in detail while discussing what? Respiration we will discuss, right? So this pharynx is divided into three parts: oral pharynx, oropharynx, nasopharynx and laryngopharynx. At this point of time, dear students, you need to remember, right, oral cavity leads into a short passage, and that short passage is known as what? Pharynx, dear students. And pharynx is common passage for what? Both. Laryngopharynx, exactly. Pharynx is common passage for both food and air. You need to understand, dear students, it's very simple. See, pharynx is, see, this is what? External nostril. It leads into nasal chambers, right? So through nasal chambers open into what? Again pharynx by means of internal nostrils. Here you can put what? Internal nostrils somewhere here. Internal nostrils will be there. Again air makes its way into what? Pharynx. See, air air, I can write what? Air here. Air makes its way into what? Pharynx. Whereas food also makes its way into what? Come on, dear students. Food also makes its way into pharynx. It's very important, you need to understand, right? So pharynx is common passage for food and air, you need to understand. Buccal cavity opens into what? Pharynx. Yeah, true. Pharynx, I have told you. Pharynx is again common passage for food and air. So pharynx is divided into what? Three parts: oropharynx, nasopharynx and laryngopharynx. The part of the pharynx which is directly connected with the buccal cavity is called what? Oropharynx. The part of the pharynx into which nasal chambers through internal nostrils open, that is called nasopharynx. The part of the pharynx into which trachea, see, esophagus and trachea open into what? Pharynx. The part in which esophagus and trachea opens into, are you able to see the students? This is what? Esophagus, right? So this is what? Trachea, dear students. Trachea is opening into pharynx. Esophagus is also opening into pharynx. This part of the pharynx is called, right, laryngopharynx, dear students. Most important, you need to understand, it's a very simple. Again, see, another most important thing I would like to share with you, dear students. We will discuss again subsequently in detail. So anterior most part, at anterior most part of the trachea you can find what? Small cartilaginous box, and that small cartilaginous box is called, most important, dear students, voice box, that is larynx. Larynx, through larynx is having opening, right? that is called glottis, through which trachea opens into what? Pharynx, and that glottis while swallowing food is covered with a lid like structure, right. That lid like structure is called epiglottis, which is made up of what? Cartilage, elastic cartilage, dear students, right. So that whenever we swallow something, whenever we drink water, right, whenever we swallow food material, so this is common passage. Since this is common passage, there is a possibility water may enter what? Respiratory tract, right. So water should be, you know, transported into what? This esophagus, right. So in order to prevent the entry of the water and food during swallowing into the respiratory tract, right, so the opening glottis is covered with a lid like structure called epiglottis, dear students, you need to understand. Let us move to some other beautiful aspects. Now let us talk about what? Esophagus, dear students. So are you able to see esophagus from here, right, from here to here? This portion of the alimentary canal is called what? Esophagus, dear students, most important. See, how is the esophagus? Esophagus is long, right, it is a thin, long, tube like structure, right, dear students, right. It extends, right. So it will be passing through what? It will be passing through the neck, it pierces through the diaphragm, and ultimately it opens into what? J-shaped stomach, dear students. So whatever I have explained, all those things you can find in this diagram, you see, right. So pharynx opens into what? Esophagus. It's very simple, dear students. Pharynx opens into esophagus, right. So pharynx opens into esophagus, and this esophagus is also called what? Food pipe, dear students. What? Here I am writing food pipe. Why? It is acting like pipe, right, and it is useful in transportation of food material from pharynx to the stomach, dear students. So therefore it is popularly known as what? Food pipe. All you need to remember, it's a very, very important, right. So if you see the structure of the esophagus, esophagus is a thin, long tube, right. So its length, if you see, dear students, its length is about, important, you need to understand, 25 centimeter. How much? 25 centimeter approximately I am talking about, 25 to 30 centimeter you can even write. And it passes through what? Are you able to see this is passing through the neck or not? Yeah, it is passing through the neck and it pierces through. This is what? Diaphragm, dear students, diaphragm, that divides body cavity into upper thoracic cavity and lower abdominal cavity. It passes through, pierces through the diaphragm and ultimately open into what? J-shaped sac-like structure, and that J-shaped sac-like structure is called what? Most important, J-shaped sac-like structure is called stomach, dear students, right. So this is about esophagus. Again, certain things I would like to share with you as far as esophagus is concerned. If you divide, you can divide esophagus into three parts, right. Anterior 1/3 esophagus, middle 1/3 esophagus, and this is posterior 1/3 esophagus. Anterior 1/3 esophagus is made up of striated muscles. Middle 1/3 esophagus is made up of what? Most important, mixed muscles, striated and right plain muscles are there. Posterior 1/3 esophagus is made up of only plain muscles or involuntary muscles, dear students, right. Another most important thing, let me explain. Muscular sphincter, right, dear students, what? Muscular sphincter, are you able to see? Muscular sphincter is present. See, this is somewhere here I have shown, dear students. Esophagus, yeah, esophagus is opening into what? Stomach, right. Opening of the esophagus into the stomach is guarded by what? Is guarded by sphincter, dear students, you need to understand. So what is the function of that? What is the function of that if you ask me? See, dear students, so one way flow will be there. So food is carried by esophagus and it is ultimately released into the stomach, right, dear students? Yeah. And there is every possibility, if this if this opening of the esophagus into the stomach is not guarded by what? This sphincter, what would have happened? The stomach contents, right, would have been thrown out, right, dear students? So most important, that is, you need to understand. So to prevent that, so opening of the esophagus into the stomach is guarded by sphincter, you need to understand, right. So that prevents regurgitation of the food, dear students. What? Regurgitation of the food, most important. And this sphincter is called cardiac sphincter, dear students. What? cardiac sphincter we will discuss subsequently in detail, so you need not to worry, right? Cardiac sphincter, I hope you understood how simple it is. You see, it's very very simple, right dear students? So with this we have finished what dear students? Esophagus we have finished. Let us understand stomach, right? So next part of our alimentary canal is what? Stomach. Stomach is very important, most important dear students, you need to understand, it's very important. So if you see the length of the stomach, right? So stomach, see, so this is called what? Length of the stomach dear students, right? So if you see the length of the stomach, so its length is approximately 30 centimeter dear students. How much? 30 centimeters. If you see width of the stomach dear students, approximately I am talking about 15 centimeter dear students. So you know what is the length of the stomach? 30 centimeter approximately, and width is 15 centimeter dear students, you need to understand. Where do you find stomach? So stomach is located, if you go back and if you see the first diagram, stomach is located on the left side immediately below the diaphragm. So just imagine, previously I told you dear students, so this is diaphragm, this is esophagus, esophagus is piercing through the diaphragm and opening into what? Stomach. So stomach is located on the left side, right dear students? Yeah, and it is immediately located below the diaphragm, located immediately below the diaphragm on the left, right, upper abdominal cavity, you need to understand, it's very important, right? So as far as length of the stomach is concerned, 30 centimeter in length and 15 centimeter in width dear students. So stomach has 4 parts dear students. What are those parts? Stomach is having how many parts? 4 parts. Cardiac portion, right dear students, most important, into which esophagus opens. Are you able to see? Everybody is able to see? So this portion is called what? Cardiac stomach dear students, right? So stomach is having how many? 4 parts. Let me show what are those 4 parts first. One is fundus, right? So one is first cardiac stomach. Are you able to see? Yeah. Then fundus or fundic stomach you can call. Then body of the stomach dear students, right? Most important. And then last part is what? Pyloric stomach or pylorus we can say. So stomach consists of how many parts? 4 parts. First one is cardiac stomach, into which esophagus opens, I told you. Then fundic region or fundus region you see. Then body, main central big part of the stomach is called body of the stomach. And last one you see, pyloric portion of the stomach, right? Pyloric portion of the stomach opens into what dear students? See, pyloric stomach, here pyloric stomach. Pyloric stomach opens into duodenum dear students. Anterior part of the small intestine is called duodenum. So pyloric stomach is opening into what? Duodenum. It's very important, you need to understand. The opening of the stomach, see, the opening of the stomach into the duodenum means anterior part of the small intestine, duodenum, is called what? Pylorus dear students. What? Pylorus. Here opening will be there, here, right dear students? Here opening will be there, and that opening of the pyloric stomach into the duodenum is guarded by what? Again, that is guarded by pyloric sphincter. So you should understand, at both the ends of the stomach, at this end of the stomach, anterior end of the stomach, one sphincter is there, cardiac sphincter, right, which is guarding the opening of what? Esophagus into the stomach. And at the posterior end also there is a, you need to understand, sphincter, right? So that sphincter, okay, simply what? Allows the food to enter from stomach into small intestine, and it does not allow regurgitation or reverse flow of the food from small intestine into stomach, you need to understand dear students, right? Sometimes what happens, we omit. What is omitting? Ejection of the stomach content, right, is called what? Omitting through mouth. Ejection of the stomach content through mouth is called what dear students? Omitting, right? So that omitting is caused because of what? Reverse peristalsis. Reverse peristalsis we will discuss subsequently. At this point of time you need to remember this much. Now I think you have understood, right, what we have seen, what we have learnt so far about stomach. Try to recall. Stomach location we have seen. Where do you find stomach? Stomach is located in the left upper right part of abdominal cavity, immediately below the diaphragm, and stomach is divided into 4 parts: cardiac stomach, fundic stomach, body of the stomach, right, and pyloric stomach dear students. Pyloric stomach opens into what? Duodenum by means of pylorus, which is guarded by pyloric sphincter. We have studied that, most important. So all these things you need to understand, it's a very very important dear students, right? What is the function of the stomach? stomach stores food, right, and it also helps in digestion of food material. Let us talk about another beautiful aspect, right. So, another part of the alimentary canal, that is small intestine, dear students. Are you able to see? So, this picture I brought for you, just this is human being, right. So, this portion, belly portion, I magnify it so that you can clearly understand. So, you see, dear students, location of the stomach, right, left side, right side, liver will be there, important thing you need to understand. So, here in this picture, so this, dear students, just I am, marking all these things you need to understand, right. So, this portion is called what? This marked portion is known as small intestine. Small intestine is the longest part of alimentary canal. Which is the longest part of alimentary canal? Small intestine is the longest part of alimentary canal, dear students, you need to understand. And small intestine is distinguishable into or divided into three parts. What are those three parts? Let us see. Duodenum. It is most important. Duodenum is C-shaped, dear students. Are you able to see? If you see its shape, right, see, this is duodenum is C-shaped structure. It receives hepatopancreatic duct, right, dear students. It receives what? Bile juice and pancreatic juice through hepatopancreatic duct. It is C-shaped structure and it is just 25 centimeter. How much? 25 centimeter. See, duodenum leads into what? See, jejunum, dear students, right. So, jejunum's length, if you see, it is again long coiled portion. Jejunum's length is 2.5 meters, dear students. How much? 2.5 meters. You need to remember all these things. Ileum, posterior most part, last part of the small intestine is called ileum, dear students, right. It is also highly coiled and it's, if you see its length, dear students, 3.5 meters. What is the length of the ileum? Longest part of the small intestine, 3.5 meters, right. So, what is the length of the jejunum, dear students? 2.5 meters this is, right. What is the length of duodenum? This 25 centimeters, dear students. So, with this we have finished what? Small intestine, most important. If you ask me what is the function of the small intestine, right, dear students, what is the function of the small intestine? So, you have studied small intestine play an important role in digestion and absorption, dear students, right, most important. In the wall of small intestine, right, so innermost layer of the wall of small intestine shows many finger like projections and those are called what? Villi. We will discuss subsequently in detail, dear students. Now, let us talk about, are you aware of this? Yes, from digestive system I brought only one part for you, right, so that you can clearly see what are exactly there in that part, right, exactly what are the structures which can be seen in that part, right. So, this part is what, dear students? Large intestine. See, large intestine, if you see the length of the large intestine, its length is approximately, dear students, 1.7 meters. How much? Not 17 meters, it is 1.7 meters, dear students, you need to understand, right, 1.7 meters. Large intestine consists of three important structures. What are those three important structures? Let us see, dear students. First one is cecum, right. So, are you able to see cecum? Yeah, this portion, this encircled portion, just imagine second time encircled portion is what? Cecum. It is very simple, right. Second one, colon, dear students, right, colon, most important is colon. So, this green color encircled portion is what? Cecum, right, dear students. And again, okay, simply you see one more I would like to use. So, this portion, dear students, this portion blue, right. So, purple encircled portion is called what? Most important, rectum, dear students. And whatever is left, right, is called what? Colon. So, which is the longest part of the large intestine? So, colon is the longest part of the large intestine, dear students. Let us talk about these structures one by one. Cecum, if you see, cecum is a small blind sac like structure, right. If you see the length of the cecum, dear students, 5 to 8 centimeter. How much? 5 to 8 centimeter. And inside cecum you can find what? Large number of symbiotic bacteria will be there, dear students, most important. See, another most important thing, see, to cecum, a small structure is attached to the cecum and that small structure is called what? Vermiform appendix, dear students. What? Vermiform appendix, most important. This is considered as what? Vestigial organ, vestigial organ. This is also called abdominal tonsil, dear students. And if you see its length approximately 8 to 13 centimeter, 8 to 13 centimeter. Let us talk about colon. Cecum leads into what? Colon, and colon is divided into 4 parts. Let us see one by one. An ascending part, are you able to see? This is what ascending part of the colon, right? So transverse colon, then see, then descending colon, are you able to see? Yes. Then sigmoid colon, yes, sigmoid colon you can see, right dear students. Descending part of the colon, right, with sigmoid colon opens into what? Rectum, and rectum ultimately opens outside by means of what? Anus, dear students, right. So again see, this is what? Alimentary canal. What I have done, I have just stretched the alimentary canal, right dear students. I have shown here, you see stomach 30 centimeter long, 25 centimeter duodenum, right, 2.5 meter long what? Jejunum, 3.5 meter long ileum, 1.7 meter long what? See this large intestine. What I have done, just I have stretched alimentary canal, right. So if you see, if you measure total length of the alimentary canal, you will come across, and that is how much? 8 to 10 meters, dear students. So with this we have finished what? Alimentary canal of human being we have finished, our digestive tract we have finished, our gut we have finished.